Hello again, everybody. It is the Community Corner with KevyKev, and we are back for another show. Man, it's coming around so fast, and we are so excited. We have some terrific topics we're going to get to today. We're going to get things going. We're going to talk about a fantastic school for our African-American boys in preschool and what the future is going to look like with that. We'll also check in on some entertainment with Steve Schankman. That name is known very, very well around the area in contemporary productions. And then we'll go back and relive some history from the 50th anniversary of hip-hop. We'll celebrate it here in St. Louis. We'll get to that and have all that as part of the show. And talk to a legendary DJ. That's right, Larry Shepard, the original Godfather. All that and a whole lot more is coming up. We're going to kick things off, though, first by talking about the Good Shepherd School for Boys, Good Shepherd Academy for Boys. And we are so excited because we have the founder of the school right here in studio, Cortaiga Collins. Cortaiga, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you for asking.
It is great to have you. And you know, I saw an interview of you. I saw you on TV. You were talking about a brand new preschool that you were developing, establishing primarily for African-American, for black boys. And you felt there was, tell everybody why you just felt we needed this.
I felt that we needed the Good Shepherd Academy for Boys because the unique needs of boys, particularly black and brown boys, are usually ignored or penalized in a traditional early childhood setting. And so I felt like boys needed a place where they could be themselves and that they could just be loved holistically, where they could be visible, valued, and validated. And so that's what the Good Shepherd Academy for Boys is for. It's created for black boys so that we can have fewer men to repair. Mm-hmm. So we're building strong boys.
That is terrific. And, you know, you have had success for more than 14 years now with the Good Shepherd Academy, where you have boys and girls. But obviously, after 14 years, you yourself, you saw this need.
I did. I saw the different behaviors of boys. I saw how they were singled out for their behavior, how their behaviors were penalized. I saw how some of their behaviors were basically ignored, and I just felt like they needed a place where they could be free to be who they are. They need to be in a affirming environment so that they can have a cultural pride, a sense of self-worth, and those things are built in the first 5 years of life. So it was very important for me to see a place where black boys could thrive because they have been they're like they're the lowest rung on the ladder, right? Yeah. When it comes to education, and we just need a place where they are valued.
Mm-hmm. And describe the plan for everybody. It's going to begin when they're in preschool, right? And it's going to move forward from there?
Yes. We want to ensure that the boys leave the Good Shepherd Academy for Boys prepared for kindergarten. And that has a profound impact on future academic success. So when they have access to high-quality early childhood education, it sets the stage for future academic success. You'll see fewer high school dropouts. You'll see fewer boys that will be prison involved. You will see, and also part of the school's program is to have parent engagement, and so you'll see fewer toxic stressors happening in the home, which will impact their mental health. And so we're taking a holistic approach, which doesn't just mean academic and socially and developmentally, but it includes the entire family. So the school philosophy will include building the whole family, strengthening the entire family.
And you're breaking new ground. I mean, I was looking at some research in other schools. There are not many doing, I believe there may have been one in Massachusetts, but not many schools focus on a particular group population like what you're planning and what you're going to do with the Good Shepherd Academy for Boys.
You're right. We have not been able to find any program of its kind. The school in Massachusetts, I believe it begins at K and goes up higher. But we have not found a school that has seen the need or have taken action on the need, because we've all seen the need, but that's taken action on the need for access to high quality early childhood. Because sometimes by the time they get to kindergarten, if they're not ready, that's where we begin to see some of the challenging behaviors. That's where some of the toxic stressors have become deep rooted, and they're manifested in some of those behaviors. And so when you enter kindergarten ill prepared and the rest of your friends are prepared, then that's where you begin to see the downward spiral.
And I know you, in your plans and even just kind of thinking about creating this school, you looked at a lot of research yourself, and I'm reading about your history and your bio. You looked at some studies where the schools and even the staff and teachers, when they were teaching African-American black boys, and the study revealed that they went in with some preconceived thoughts, and it affected how they approach and how they even instituted instruction.
Absolutely. There was a study that was published, I think it was a Harvard study, where that the teachers were prejudiced or biased against black boys. And so, even we see it in African American males. We've been taught, we've been conditioned to fear black men and to see them as a threat. And it begins even as early as the preschool years. So black boys are entering schools already with a mark against them just because of their gender and the color of their skin. And
this is where you plan to really focus in on that and eliminate those types of biases that we talked about. So tell me overall, what's been the response from the community when you told them and made it clear that this was your plan, this is your goal?
Yeah, we've had an overwhelmingly positive response to the idea of this innovative approach to catering to black boys. We definitely want to reshape the narrative, and so that when people look at a black male student, they don't see what's previously been their experience with black boys.
And as you are going through and preparing this, the plan, if I'm understanding correctly, is you're going to begin it at the preschool age. Is it 4?
It's 3.
It's 3. Oh, 3. Okay,
yeah, we're going to start at 3.
Earlier at 3.
Yeah. 2 years. We want to have them 2 years before they enter kindergarten. So we want to ensure that by the time they reach kindergarten, they are developmentally and academically and socially, emotionally prepared for the school system.
And this will be is this considered like a public school? Is it considered public? Private? How will the school be classified?
Well, right now we are working on the funding structure, but it will be our ultimate goal. The North Star is for this to be a free preschool. A
free preschool.
So we are working on. We're a nonprofit organization, so we are definitely seeking funding from multiple sources to do our best, because we want to make this available to families with a low income who don't necessarily have the means and the capacity to pay the cost of care for a high quality early childhood education facility. So that's the distinction I want to make sure that we emphasize, that it will be high quality early childhood. It will be a high quality early childhood experience for these boys, what will shape and impact them for years and years to come.
And the plan is to each year you're going to add an additional grade.
Yes, the plan is to add a grade every year until they get to at least the 5th grade, and then we're hoping that we will have identified a quality feeder school that will take the torch and continue to nurture these boys. But we will follow them all the way through high school. And
so, for anyone that's sitting there and they're thinking about the school, how will you work with parents? What will the parent involvement look like in the new Good Shepherd Academy for Boys?
Yeah, I love that. So we will have parenting courses available for the parents, because one thing that I realized, especially as a mother of black boys myself, who was very young and ignorant just means not knowing, unaware. Sometimes parents are not aware of typical child development. And sometimes mothers, out of that lack of knowledge, they penalize behaviors that are typical for boys. And sometimes their gifts, their innate gifts, are being manifested in different behaviors, but because the mother can't recognize that, and doesn't realize that her son is showing his gifts and talents to her and not conforming to what she believes should be typical childhood behavior, that behavior is penalized, and sometimes we break their spirit. So we see boys who have these great giftings in them, and because mothers are not trained to recognize what typical childhood behavior is, she begins to stifle some of that creativity and essentially breaks their spirit. And so some of the vibrancy we see in children, by the time they get to elementary school, we don't see that anymore because it's been beaten out of them, literally and figuratively.
All right, this is going to be just a tremendous development and creation that you established here. We're certainly going to be following you and keeping in touch. For someone that's listening, that they want to support you, they want to get involved, Cortaiga, what can they do? How do they reach you? How do they get in touch? How do they provide funding to help you? How can they do it?
Well, thank you for asking that. We have a website. The Good Shepherd Academy for Boys is a school of the Foundation for Strengthening Families. That's our overarching nonprofit. So they could go to foundationforstrengtheningfamilies.org, and they can click on the Donate Now, or they can click on the About Us or Contact Us tab to send us a message that they want to get in contact with us, or they can reach me at my for-profit school, my unisex school, and the phone number is 314-863-9056, and they can ask for me specifically, Cortaiga Collins, or just tell them that they're interested in talking or hearing more about the Good Shepherd Academy for Boys.
And I can tell you, ladies and gentlemen, she will get back to you. And the website again, one more time, I want to make sure we're going to get it on the screen here. But what's that website again?
For sure. It's foundationforstrengtheningfamilies.org.
Okay, we want to get that out there. And like I was saying, I can tell you, she gets right back in touch with you. She certainly did with us, and we appreciate you taking our time. And Miss Katina as well. I know she didn't get to talk to us, but we appreciate both of you for taking our time. And we're going to be following the school. We know it's going to open in the 2024, 2025 years, what we're looking for. And we wish you nothing but the very best. And I know it's going to be a great success.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your interest and your validation of our school and our idea. And we look forward to partnering with more people to make this a reality for these boys and these families.
All right. That's Cortaiga Collins, and she's getting ready to get it started. The Good Shepherd Academy School for Boys. Look out for them, y'all. And again, catch up. You see the information there and follow them and get in contact and support her. We want to do that. All right, this is KevyKev. This is Community Corner. Stand by. We are coming back. It's the Community Corner with KevyKev. We are back at you, and wow. You know, we don't throw the term icon around a lot, okay? But I truly have one here, ladies and gentlemen, because I know if you're from the St. Louis area, even if you're not from the area, you've certainly heard about this around the country. You've heard of Contemporary Productions, and we are so happy to have joining us on the show the founder and president of Contemporary Productions. When he founded it just a few years after coming out of high school, we're so happy to have joining us Steve Schankman. Steve, how are you? And thanks for being with us.
Hey, man, everything is great, Kevy. Great to be with you. Great to be out in a nice, beautiful, sunny day in St. Louis, looking at Forest Park from my office. Can't wait to the 26th and 27th of August, because we're going to be putting on a big festival in Forest Park, as you know.
And we're going to talk about that too, Steve. It's the Evolution Festival, and like you say, it happens August 26th and 27th in Forest Park, and the theme is music, bourbon, and barbecue.
How do you beat that? We're the barbecue capital of the world. I mean, the state of Missouri, because you got to give Kansas City its kudos.
Yeah.
But when you think about St. Louis, you think about Sugar Fire. I just had Sugar Fire over the weekend. I had that great brisket sandwich that Michael Johnson makes.
Yes, sir.
And you think about bourbon is like the drink. You know, when we were growing up, all we could afford was, you know, that bottle that you unscrew, that wine bottle. And then we make it into a lava lamp after that. You know, but now bourbon is the drink. I thought just for men, but women and men. That's their big mixer drink is bourbon. So bourbon and barbecue. Now, we're going to have all kinds of food and all kinds of beverages, you know, whether they're alcoholic or non-alcoholic, but that's our theme because we feel that fits the St. Louis community.
Oh, absolutely. And you look at this lineup that you're bringing in here, Steve, too, as well. I mean, on Saturday, I'm looking at this, the Black Keys, the Black Crows, Brittany Howard, Cautious Clay, Modern English, Nikki Lane, Sugar Hill Gang, the Knuckles, Punk Lady Apple. Then on Sunday, you come back with Brandy Carly, Ben Harper, The Innocent Criminals, Ice Cube, Morgan Wade. How about that? Mitch Kander. Oh man, you have put one together here.
Here's the deal. I got two great talent guys that work for me, my partners. I got Jeff Jarrett, who's been with me almost 20 years, goes to more concerts in a week than I go in a month or a year sometimes. And we got Joe Litvey, who worked for me back in the 90s. Then he went to work for one of the biggest festival producers in the country, Danny Wimmer. And Danny Wimmer does the Bourbon and Beyond Festival in Louisville, very similar to what we're doing here, or we're very similar to what he did there. But the main thing about it, I'm in St. Louis all my life. Went to U City High School, went to UMSL, like we said. Diversity, inclusion. Do things that everybody wants to come to. So we got everything from hip hop to pop. I mean, you think about it, and you think about Sugar Hill Gang. Their first record got its first airplay right here on WESL radio with Jim Gates.
That's right.
I mean, you guys, even at Casey, where iHeart has now, they weren't playing 14-minute songs. They were playing albums sometimes. Well, maybe Inaugural or Layla, they're pretty long. But my point is this. If I can't have a diverse lineup of everything from Brandy Carlisle to Ice-T, I'm going to have an Ice-T, to Ice Cube.
Yeah.
Think about Ice Cube. He's still relevant. He's in that new movie, the Ninja Turtles movie. He's one of the voices.
Yep.
Still relevant, TV and movies. And then when you can add to it Brittany Howard and Brandy Carlisle. Brandy Carlisle won 3 Grammys a few months ago. So we wanted to do the first year something for everybody. It's not easy to do, but I wouldn't have done this festival. I haven't taken a risk on a show since I sold Contemporary, the first Contemporary, in 1998, 24 years ago. I mean, that's a long time ago. But I saw a need in St. Louis that we needed a community-wide festival, and that's why we're going to do it, and it's coming up real quick, and we just want people to support it. St. Louis has supported it. The state of Missouri is a sponsor of one of our stages, Missouri Tourism. Lindenwood University, which is out in St. Charles, sponsoring our second stage. We have Anheuser-Busch, and we have Schnucks, and we have so many regional arts commissions, so many great sponsors that are civic-minded people that have joined my team here and my players here to make this thing a big success year one.
Boy, that is some lineup when you talk about all the history and on all just the businesses and the corporate sponsorship that you say that you had there. But when you talk about you and your career and you said it yourself, we were talking about it during the break. You just a couple of years out of high school and you began promoting concerts. I mean, how did you get started and how difficult was that?
Well, first of all, put it to you mildly, and the way I like to see it, I'm just too old now to live somebody else's dream. This is the dream I had when I was playing the trumpet in bands back in the 60s. I was playing in the Motown, not the Motown Review, that's my new band, but I was playing in the Impact Soul Review with Charlie Tuna was my MC. I had the Young Hearts and I had other singers.
Tuna was your MC.
He was my MC. Oh yeah, Tuna was. We opened up for the Temptations in 1968.
Wow.
And only that night, if you watch the movie or the Temptations documentary, was the night that that David Ruffin quit and they got on the phone and called Dennis Edwards. It's portrayed in the documentary. That's what Dennis joined, was right after we played with the Temptations. I think it was in February of 1968. But I got started being a trumpet player. I had bands. I booked 2 bands, 3 bands. I was buying bands for all the high schools and colleges, fraternity parties, Wash U, St. Louis U. And we started to do this around the Midwest. And some schools, like on Burroughs, they wanted to have Rotary Connection. Well, Rotary Connection was a big act back in those days with Minnie Ripperton. Ladue High School wanted the Four Tops. Other schools wanted CTA, which became Chicago Transit Authority, became Chicago. So I said to my partner, Irv, why don't we do concerts? And he thought it was a great idea. And we went ahead to the Grateful Dead in 1969, which is a very famous show at the Fox Theater because they wrote the song Truckin', because they got busted in New Orleans and coming to St. Louis, they wrote the song Truckin', which became one of their biggest hits. So I did them back in the '60s, and I did them in the '90s before we lost Jerry Garcia.
Well,
So that's how I got started. One after another. The English invasion came 10 years after. Peter Frampton, Humble Pie, Joe Cockroach. So, I mean, that's how we got started, was just doing small concerts. They got to be big concerts. And by 1978, which was only 10 years later, we were doing the Rolling Stones. They played the Opera House, 1978. Can you believe that? 3,000 seats. 3,000 seats at $10.
Oh,
they didn't make a lot of money. It's not like playing a stadium. I mean, think about that. $10 tickets. And we've been doing it ever since. So, but in '98, when I sold the company, what became Live Nation, which meant I sold Riverport, I sold our interest in the pageant with Joe Edwards. I basically went into working for them for a couple of years. Then I left and started Contemporary 2.0, which was more an event company. Although we would book a lot of entertainers, anything from Kenny Chesney, Jason Alexander from Seinfeld, I just had in town. Starship. So we would book a lot of entertainment for private events and for events where people would buy the acts from us, and we would produce the concert, like Fair St. Louis, for example, which we booked for many years. And that was the business I was in until this. And when we saw an opportunity, Joe Litvag, my partner, who used to work for him back in the 90s, came back to be my partner with this, or I became his partner, 50-50, was because we saw a need for this festival with two St. Louis boys, and we want to do it in St. Louis, and we want to be the ones that do it because we're not dealing with out-of-town producers that come in and they can leave. We're committed. We just hope people, and we're sure people will back us up and attend the concert, go on the festival, evolutionfestival.com, buy some tickets. There's a lot of tickets available, at least in the general admission area. Some of the VIP tickets are going fast because people have now decided we're coming. We're going to make that commitment and be there for the 2 days. And we have one-day tickets available too, but most people, 90% of the people, want to buy the 2-day experience. And that's what it's about. It used to be you want to buy a ticket to a concert, Kevin, but now what it's about, what is the experience going to be? It's going to be food and beverages and art and lots of displays and exhibits and hands-on things to do. And on a beautiful piece of ground called Langenberg Field in Forest Park, never had a festival like this. And it's right off the Metrolink line on the north side of the park. Easy access.
Boy, that is it. That is sensational. Again, it's called the Evolution Festival. It's going to take place August 26th and 27th, as Steve said, in Forest Park. And again, that theme, music, bourbon, and barbecue. And he's just got an incredible lineup coming in for that. And I just have a question too. I mean, you're a pretty young guy, and so like you say, in 1978, you're calling and Mick Jagger, and you're bringing the Rolling Stones in this. What was the challenge? Was that difficult to get that done?
Well, truthfully, they would have liked to play Busch Stadium. Busch Stadium wasn't available, so the manager and the agent called to find something small because we still want to play the market. Because by then, back then, a lot of acts were still traveling on buses before everybody was on an airplane. So anyway, the only thing available was the Kiel Opera House, which is now the Steeple Theater, and they said, let's do it. And then we did them also in Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City. Then we did them in St. Louis and Busch Stadium. No, we've had a long-standing relationship with Nick and the guys, and when they were here a couple of years back, I was with some of them over here at the Ritz-Carlton, got a chance to hang out with those guys, and they're still my favorite act of all time. I love The Who, and I love a lot of acts, but they're the Rolling Stones, and man, they gather no moss. But it's our time, it's our town, it's our evolution. Come out, people, and see have a great experience, see some tremendous entertainment. You can't buy a ticket to see one act for $100, and you could have bought a ticket for Evolution for 2 days. So we try to make it as affordable so everybody has a chance to come and enjoy the 2 days out in Forest Park, Langenberg Field, evolutionfestival.com.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but you're going to have 3 stages, is that right?
No, 2 stages. One on the east side is Lindenwood University. Okay. On the west side, which is a bigger stage because of the acts that will be playing there, although there's great acts on both stages, that will be the Missouri Tourism Stage. So visit Missouri. So that's going to be sponsored by the state of Missouri. And it just shows you how people realize how important it is to have a festival. Hotel rooms. How about going to the zoo that morning, have lunch at the art museum, go to the history museum and see music and stuff there, and then hop on over to the festival. You open the doors, at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. 3 o'clock, the first show starts on the Linwood University stage, and then we go from there at about 11 o'clock each night. Get people home before midnight. Easy to get there. Metrolink. We have rideshare, Ubers. A lot of people will park at some of the institutions earlier in the day, but people will come if you put on a great show. And I think we got a great show and a great experience. And I thank you. I know you do the community outreach program there at iHeartRadio. I appreciate you calling today and asking about it.
Oh, well, we thank you so much again and appreciate you taking out the time. Again, it's going to be August 26th and 27th at Forest Park, the Evolution Festival, and a lot to go on. And one final question I just want to ask you. It looks like is that the new approach now? As you mentioned, you can go to the zoo, you can take in a history museum, and then you can also get in a great concert. Is that kind of the promoters like yourself? Is that kind of the approach now?
It's my approach. I was chairman of the zoo for 7 years. If you drive into the park and see that big steel sculpture, that's the Schankman Family Plaza. Mm-hmm. I care a lot about the zoo. I care a lot about Forest Park Forever. Forest Park Forever is our recipient of $1 a ticket as our charity. So that's good money for them. And then the Art Museum, matter of fact, we're doing that festival with the Art Museum. It's their festival this Saturday, which is the 50 years of hip hop. So I hope make that play as well.
Yep.
And then also the History Museum. So by starting the show, and this was Joe Litvak, my partner's idea, later in the afternoon, that gives people time to enjoy these great institutions in the #1 park in the nation. So I wouldn't say that's what other promoters in other cities are doing, but that's what we're doing, because this is a community festival to bring not only people from around the state and around the Midwest, but to bring the people of St. Louis to what now can be said, we have our own festival. Because they're going to Coachello's and they're going to the Heritage Festival in New Orleans and they're going to Bourbon Beyond in Louisville. Now you don't even have to leave home. It's about a 10, 15, 20-minute drive for everybody to come out and enjoy this festival and have fun during the day. And hotels, we have hotel packages that we sold, because we do have a lot of people coming in from out of town. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to tell you this, there's been some celebrities there. You're going to know other people that aren't on our list. I can't tell you who's going to show up. Yeah. But you're going to see people there if you're in the crowd. You go, did you see? Because in 55 years of doing concerts, I've made a lot of friends. And they're going to be in the St. Louis area, and they're from St. Louis. I say a few of those people will stop by.
Awesome. Well, Steve, once again, thank you so much for taking the time out again. It's going to happen on the 26th and 27th of August, Forest Park. It is Music, Bourbon, and Barbecue, the Evolution Festival. Steve, 55 years of promoting concerts and just still doing a great job at Contemporary Productions 2.0. Steve, thank you so much for taking out the time, and we're going to look out for this Evolution Festival.
And I'm going to look out for you and Edwin.
Yes, sir. All right.
Okay.
That's Steve Schankman.
Talk to you later.
Thank you so much. KevyKev in the community here. We wrapping up 50 years of hip-hop. Had it here at the World Pavilion in Forest Park. DJ Kut, the man, the featured DJ. Man, how you feeling, Kut?
Man, I'm feeling good. I couldn't wait for this night. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't wait for this night. Yeah. You know, shout out to all the DJs who went on before. DJ Nooney, my brother, Sir Thurl, the official party starter. That's what his first thing was, a party starter. Now he will close it on your quick. I don't know if I should say that. He will close it on your butt. Should I not say that?
Yeah,
shout out to DJ Kutty.
Right.
And, man, I had fun
Fred
with it.
D, shout out to Fred
Yeah,
D.
Fred D hopped on the tables. Chubb Rock performed. And this dude, KevyKev, showed up. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. A lot of people ain't seen you in years.
Man, it was good to be out here with you.
Yeah.
What'd you think of that Chubb Rock performance?
Man, Chubb is just a legend. Like, Chubb, I was so glad he went on right before me, because he helped bring the party to a nice energy and hype. So, yeah, Chubb did his thing. That's my man right there. Yes.
Did you ever think when you was back getting started, I know you was working out with Captain G and folks, it'd be 50 years later and then you'd be like the featured DJ in St. Louis, that they bring it into town to do an event like this?
Man, looking back, I had no idea I would even be at this point. You know what I'm saying? Even when Chubb was performing, like, shout out to my boy DJ Kut, we worked together in New York, like, you know what I'm saying? All of these guys grew up playing their music on the radio, and then end up working with a majority of them, and they know your name and you know them, and Light and Dougie Fresh and the name goes, the list goes on and on. Ed Lover, Dr. Dre, Moni Love, Kwame. It's just so many names of legends that, I mean, Kool Herc.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Kool Herc showed me love when I was in New York. Grandmaster Flash and all
think
these.
about that. Here you are. You're a St. Louis kid.
Yeah.
And you go to New York. You there 9 years with all these hip hop legends like that. What was that like for you?
Man, a lot of times I had to pinch myself like, yo, I'm like standing on the stage with Red Alert, Grandmaster Cass, and Jazzy J, Ralph McDaniels, and all these legends. I'm like, yo, I'm like on the stage with these dudes right now. Let me get down. Let me just get off this stage. I am not worthy. You know what I'm saying? So, man, it was just incredible, man. You know, just never imagined being at that point. You know, like, of course, everybody in St. Louis knew when I scratched my name, I used Rock the Bells.
Right.
I couldn't do that in New York. Like, Kut creators from Queens. So, no, that didn't work. I didn't do that in New York. Yeah.
Well, you know what? I have to say this because I got to see you. People might not realize, man, you worked hard at your craft. I mean, when others were sleeping, you was at home on the tables.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man, I was up in my drawers, you know what I'm saying? In the room, you know what I'm saying? I ain't had no central air. I had that ceiling fan and up at night, yeah. You know, putting the reel-to-reel mixes together before we was mixing live on Magic 108.
Yeah.
And I'm one of them deadline people. You know, got to get it there before 6 o'clock. I'm coming 5:59 every time. So, you know what I'm saying? But, yeah, a lot of blood, sweat, years, and tears. Yes, indeed.
And you know what? You did a mix. You highlighted a lot of St. Louis artists. We heard the, we heard the Nellies, we heard the Chingies, we had the Silk Smooths. You worked in some Jack Move in there. You know, I didn't hear any early D. I don't know if you got him a Ram Love. I don't know, but you was working it.
Man, I was running out of time. That's all it was. And I wish I would have did a St. Louis set earlier. You know, shout to Just Black. Shout out to G Wiz, Early D, rest in peace to D Rebel. So many.
JCD and
JC. Yeah, man. It's so many songs I didn't get a chance to play. I was like, damn, they leaving. Don't leave yet. Don't leave. Shout out to Black Pearl Mafia. Shout out to Jack Move. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
You had some chaos in there.
Oh yeah. Nina Pop.
Right. Nina Pop.
You would get shot not playing Nina Pop at a party. Yeah. Nah. Let me rephrase that. You would get hit with a folding chair, not playing the Nina Pop.
Right. That's right. Well, man, as we wrap it up, man, it's just was great, man. I mean, how'd you like that light, that 50-year light down there? I know you had it like that.
Oh, man, they did a great job with the setup, the decorations, the lights, camera, action. Shout out to One Rep DJ. Shout out to Big Lou. They always gonna bring it with the sound and light. I never worry, like, you know what I'm saying? Certain gigs you worry about who they got doing the sound and light, but you kind of put things in place ahead of time. You put your people in there, make sure your people got it. So yeah. One Rep DJ, Big Lou. So man, it's always golden when I know they here. Yeah,
well, man, I'm telling you, and you brother for life, man. It's just a pleasure to be here with you, man.
Man, I done shed tears with this man before. You know what I'm saying? Blood, sweat, years, and tears. So this is my brother for life. You know what I'm saying? I just want my Biggie picture before I die. That's all.
You go get it. All right? So as we wrap, if people want to follow and stay on DJ Kut, how do they connect up and follow DJ Kut?
Real simple. Hit me on my Instagram, Real DJ Kut. I'm on Instagram. Way more than Facebook, you know. Facebook is there. Twitter is Real DJ Kut on Twitter. I'm mainly on Instagram. Okay. I guess I need to get on TikTok, but I'm Instagram. Yeah, heavy.
All right. DJ Kut, man, thanks so much. I know you back on the road, headed to other places to rock parties, but thank you, man. Safe travels. God bless you, man. I'm glad St. Louis, we can claim he belonged to us. I know he spent a lot of time in New York, but he's there still. We're going to claim him here. I know Florida likes to claim him too, but we're going to say he belonged to us still.
Oh, no, it's always, dude, man, I came here on a couple of hours of sleep and still had to go to my lead to get my special fried rice, egg Frion gravy, beef St. Paul. And you know what I'm saying, go to my hotel room, watch The Chi, And
some castles too while you there?
No, I don't really like. They got the White Castles in Orlando, so that's only an hour and a half away from the crib, so that ain't that bad. I just got to when I come home, I got to get my rice, got to get my jack because they don't have no jack down there. Barbecue, got to go to Red's, got to go to King of Soul, got to go to Elicious. You know, all the black spots. You know what I'm saying? I got to support our people.
Yes, sir. All right. It's the Community Corner with KevyKev, and hey, that was DJ Kut as we were celebrating 50 years of hip-hop in St. Louis, of course, around the world, and the St. Louis side of it. And we continue that on with one of St. Louis's own DJ and wrecking legends here. We are so happy to have, that's right, the original Godfather, Larry Shepard, who sings and mixes and does the whole nine. Hey, Godfather, how you doing?
Pretty good. It's my man, KevyKev. Oh.
That's it. He does it, man, every time. Can you hit one for BJ the DJ? Can you sing that one in? Let me hear you hit that one. Hit that one.
BJ the DJ. Oh.
See, there it is, man. That's him, man. Not many of the DJs will sing their intro in like that, but he does, and we're glad to have him here, man. And we were talking about it, man. You and BJ the DJ, man, y'all worked out. That was the time, man, y'all was working out together, doing a lot of sets around town.
Yeah, we started at the rear door at St. Louis Avenue in Grand, and then we advanced to 30-something right there at Washington and Vanderbilt here in St. Louis. And done quite a few other things together, but those two places stick out. And when BJ was over on Washington, he was kind of doing like a matinee thing, and the boss, the guy that owned the place, Tony James, he was, he called himself the mixologist. And he'd listen to us. He was waiting for us to make a mistake, but we showed him what we were made of, and he actually gave us props, so that was a real good thing.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And, of course, you're from Illinois. You're from the east side. Roots there. And, of course, you came up under, of course, the great Dr. Jockenstein. And you were at the set. You were on the set with him as he was operating on folks' mind. But then he would always give time for the young brothers like yourself to get on the tables and do some things and hype the crowd up.
Oh, yeah. Jock was really good at that. He took me under his wing and showed me quite a few things. But Jock showed me the talent side of that, what it took to, move the crowd. He would like what I would do with that. But I must give a mention to my man, my brother, the one, the only, the long-haired sucker. They called him Curtis Boogeyman Soul. Curtis Soul showed me how to hook all of this equipment up. Curtis Soul showed me on a record. He'd take an album and he said, this is what you do. He said, I want you to put a record on each one of these turntables. And he said, in between each This line that you see in between each song, this line represents something, and that's 5 seconds. So he said, if it's a good record, what could happen to you? It might be another good record, but you got to wait 5 seconds for it to come up. You don't want to do that because you'll have what they call dead air. So we would have This was when we started with 2 records, 2 of the same records. I had 2 copies of Got to Be Real on the album. And so Got to Be Real was in the middle of the album. So you got to cue it up right at the beginning. When you hear that, then you know you got the song. And then also,
this is that right?
Right. And then also, I want to mention my oldest brother, who is no longer with us, Jerry Lee Mitchell Jr. They called him Shoemaker, the Shoemaker of Soul. And he used to hang out with Curtis. And he introduced me to Curtis. And I told Curtis, I want to learn how to do this. And it happened in 1975. Met Jock over at Coleman's Plaza. He said, hey, man, I heard you over there at Big Tony's Tropicana Club singing. I want you to come over here with me to Coleman's Plaza and do that same thing. And that's where it started.
That's where it started?
Yes, sir.
Oh, man, that's it. And I think it's safe to say you found your calling with records and spinning the records, and then it just transcended on into the music, this whole hip-hop culture. You told me, Silk Smooth and Kool Odie, who, of course, had a big hit, both from St. Louis, they came to you to get the 12-inch of Barry White's playing your game, right? And you gave them that, and they did the sample.
Yes, sir. I made sure I gave them a mint condition album because he said that they were going to sample it to get the song for Silk Smooth, and I was glad to be able to do that. And because of that, they did give me an honorable mention on the back of the album, so I greatly appreciate that.
Absolutely. So let me ask you this. When you look back at it, again, we're celebrating 50 years, and I had a chance to talk a little bit about this with BJ. We were just talking about some of the rappers that I guess had made it onto the national scene, and we think about them. You're talking about your Nellies and Chingies, and we were talking about Silk Smooth and some of the others, JCD and the Dog Pound, Jaquan. But when you think about St. Louis hip-hop, what kind of stands out about the talent here, Nelly, the Lunatics, and all that? What kind of comes to your mind when you think about it?
I really applaud those guys because there was nothing here like they had in Los Angeles. They had people that would back them, and I even think even for myself, if I had an opportunity like that, I'm quite sure we would have been. Including BJ, we would have been in the forefront and what they call now the forefathers of this thing that hit St. Louis because of the St. Lunatics and Nelly and Murphy Lee and City Spud and all those guys. I am so glad that we finally got a chance to put this city on the map because these guys had enough insight, enough determination, enough tenacity to go forward with it. So I am very, very happy for them. Hats off to all of those who finally made it to wax because this is tangible. You can hold on to it. Can't do that with MP3.
Yeah, and that's good. And there was some more. We had a chance to be at the 50-year celebration, and you talked about guys like Jack Move, Sitting on Fat, who was from East St. Louis, and you talked about the Early D's and the Ram Loves, and these guys, they were Kool Odie, of course, and part of Silk Smooth. They were all part of that history, and then had a chance to talk to Chubb Rock, and he gave BJ and you and the DJs credit because that's a key part of the culture. And he was saying, like, the DJs made it. I mean, you guys would break the records off in these clubs and sets before it would hit the radio.
Oh yeah, and see, because of that, it just developed into something bigger than what we ever thought it would be. Now look at it. We're talking about the celebration of 50 years of hip hop. There was a time when they said that hip hop wouldn't last. And here's another fun fact or note that a lot of people didn't know. When they had at the baseball field the killing of disco, guess what? Disco was not the only records that were in there. It was hip hop that was in that stuff. So they were trying to erase all of that. But because of DJs like us who played the music, the legend continues. And like I say on my Facebook page, true legends never die.
Absolutely. That's a great point. And I tell you, I can remember watching the Grammys, and when it came to the rap categories, they would just put a picture up on the screen and say who the winners. They wouldn't even, you certainly weren't going to get to perform. And they didn't even know how they would play the songs, who's the nominees. No, they would just put the winner. Here's the winner for best rap solo. And you see a picture and the name, LL Cool J. All right, now let's get back over on the other side here. That's how it would go.
Yeah.
And when I started in radio, you didn't play rap. You wouldn't hear a rap song till after 6.
Right.
And you never would hear 2 back to back.
Well, two things happened in the record industry. First off, when hip hop came about, Don Cornelius from Soul Train didn't want to touch that. You know, he was trying to get that show to just be strictly R&B and funk. He didn't want to do that. And then the other thing was when Tupac made How Do You Want It, he says in the song, Bill Clinton, Mr. Bob Dole, you're too old to understand how the story goes. So that lets you know right then and there they didn't want that, because it spoke against the clean American, quote unquote, American entity that they wanted to hold up. They didn't want people to see what was behind the veil. So because the music has lasted as long as it has, you know, now is an opportunity for us to speak our freedom, to tell of our thoughts, to say things that are going on. And just one little small note here. Before a regular R&B, country and western, gospel song is put to music, what is it? It's a rap song, because every line just about has a word that ends or rhymes with the word that was at the end of that first sentence.
That's a great point. You know, we just about out of time here, man. It's been on. I don't even know where the time went in this segment here. It just kind of flew by. But you got to come back and let us continue to celebrate you some more, man. I know you all over the place. You're doing your thing and keep making that music, man. I appreciate you for coming by and mixing it up and chopping it up with us.
Thank you, sir.
All right, that is the original Godfather, Larry Shepard, man. Doing it. And you got to take us out one of your tunes and give us out. You know, we're going to wrap it up here. Give us a little something on, Hallelujah 1600. Can you hit it?
And I had something going in my head like, Hallelujah 1600.
There you have it. Talk to you next time on the Community Corner. I didn't get to hang that day with Beyonce but you did give me an autograph. You know, I told my house I'm looking for that Biggie. I got the picture. I'm gonna go home and find it.
Oh yeah.
I thought that's why I was late getting over here, man. Okay.
I hope I get the Biggie picture before I die. No.
You are gonna get it. You are gonna get it. You gonna get it. Oh man. You got that? All right.